Beyond the Headlines on the WMBD Plus app, where we break down today's local news stories with our own reporters. I'm Brianna Rittman.
And I'm Jack Wozikis. Today we're talking about an influx of people going to local shelters to stay warm, then learning about space heater safety.
And lastly, we will check in with the Home Sweet Home's new housing project as they welcome their first residents. Now, our first local story today has Jack automatically in the hot seat. He's here to talk about how local shelters are seeing an influx of people as these cold temperatures continue. So, Jack, what shelter did you go to today?
Yeah, I went to two different shelters today. I went to Dream Center Peoria and I went to the Salvation Army in Pekin. And yeah, both are doing incredible work right now, keeping people warm, keeping people safe, fed. They're doing the Lord's work over there.
Okay,
and
that's good.
Overall, you know, they're going to be continuing 24/7 operations going into this week because, you know, temperatures are also, again, supposed to be pretty cold.
Yeah, and since they are seeing an influx, how many people have they seen so far over the weekend?
Yeah, so Dream Center on Saturday alone saw about 140 people come in.
Wow. Looking
for shelter and to get warm. Now, that's not too out of the norm is what they were saying, you know. Summer, they see about, 150 in the summertime, so pretty.
People are trying to cool off.
Yeah, people trying to cool off. So yeah, that's about pretty average for what they were seeing. And then over at Salvation Army in Pekin, they actually only had 16 people. But they can hold 90. So they're
going to see some more.
They're going to see some more people especially after this.
That is right.
But also, they were saying that that means that there are people are out. Hopefully in other shelters getting warm.
Okay.
So while they have the space, they're not at capacity and they can still grab some people and keep them nice and safe.
Now, what is their message going into this week?
The message that both shelters told me is that if you know someone, if you see someone out in the cold, just point them in the right direction. It's better to be in the shelter, in the warm than out in the cold, especially when it's this cold outside. And I also kind of, I spoke with Jamie Harwood today about just being out in the cold, especially for elderly people.
Right.
That can play such a huge effect into their health. And most of these unsheltered people are getting up there in age. So, and that could range from, being 20 years old to being 60 years old. So being out in the cold is not where you want to be this week. That's the main sentiment from all of these places. And all of them are going to be open 24/7. Throughout this whole week, no matter what time of day it is, you can come in, get warm, get some food, and maybe even a nice bed to sleep in that night.
Did they say how the community may help those? Like, if I don't need shelter, but is there a way for me to help them?
Yeah, they're always taking donations for hats, gloves, scarves, coats, hand warmers. You can just go there, you can donate, you can go on their website, you can make a monetary donation. But yeah, so donations, word of mouth, those are probably the best bet you can do, just staying home. And also, if you have any elderly neighbors, give them a call.
Right.
Check in on them, make sure they're doing okay. Just going out to the mailbox could end badly for someone who's older. If they fall, if they hit their head, anything can happen. So just give them a call. Check in on your neighbors.
All right. Thank you, Jack, for those helpful reminders.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Jack and I were talking about this before the show. American climber Alex Honnold made history over the weekend climbing a 101-story skyscraper in Taiwan. He used his bare hands and wore no protective gear. Netflix viewers around the world and people on the ground and inside the tower watched the display of human strength and perseverance. It took Honnold about 90 minutes to scale the more than 1,600-foot tower, which is Taiwan's tallest building.
Yeah, I could do that. I could totally do that. Yeah, no, that is incredible. That's incredible. And you know what's even crazier? Have you seen his documentary called Free Solo?
No.
This is arguably child's play for him. Like
wow.
His documentary, he climbed El Capitan in Yosemite, and that's 3,000 feet of granite straight up. 3,000 feet. That's twice the size of this building that he climbed, and he did it in 4 hours. Now, granted, can you tell I've done a lot of research on this guy since this. I'm so intrigued by it. It's incredible, and he's for his previous one in 2017 and at Yosemite, which is probably it's honestly one of the greatest accomplishments in human history.
Right. Okay.
But he spent 2 years climbing it with a rope to make sure he knows every nook and cranny and every crevice he needs to grab onto and hold onto, and then he did it without a rope. And now he's done this without a rope. He's climbed a skyscraper, which, and I saw an interview with him, is arguably kind of scarier because when you're climbing a rock, you can't see anything. Like you just see the rock. But when you're climbing a skyscraper, you got the glass, and you could see your reflection, and then you could see the rest of the world behind you, so you could see the drop. So that would be terrifying.
But we were talking about how he doesn't have, when they did a brain scan on him, that fear
so
is not in there.
In the Free Solo documentary, they did a CT scan of his brain, and they showed that his amygdala, I think that's what it is, the part of your brain that processes fear isn't like the rest of all of us. It is reduced. So he doesn't process fear the same way we do. So he could go up 3,000 feet in the air and look over a cliff and probably not feel too scared.
And so that shows it's fear that holds us back.
Yeah.
Because this wasn't about skill. I mean, skill is important.
Yeah, and skill.
But like fear.
I was looking at his hands.
If we
while
don't
he was
register
climbing.
fear, we're good. But people see that with kids. That's why when you're younger, you're jumping around, playing around and everything because it hasn't kicked in.
Yeah. But I was looking at his hands, and like his fingers are like sausage thick. Because think about how much strength he has to build up in his muscles and his hands.
Right.
And his forearms. And
how does he get down?
He probably takes the elevator down. He probably takes the elevator down.
Okay, but when it was with Yosemite,
he just got to the top and then walked down. You can walk down it. It's on Disney Plus. It is an incredible documentary.
Okay.
Like, I watched it a couple years ago, and now just talking about it and watching the Netflix Live thing with the skyscraper, I want to go back tonight. I probably will tonight. I'm probably going to go rewatch it just because it's so incredible.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jack, for giving us the rundown.
Yeah, I can give you the rundown on free soloing.
When we come back on Beyond the Headlines, we've got Austin Feeman from our Twin Cities newsroom. We're going over space heater safety when we return. Welcome back. Our next local story of the day. With chilly temperatures, you may be pulling out that space heater to keep warm.
WMBD's Austin Feeman joins us now live from the Twin Cities newsroom to tell us more about the dangers of space heaters and how to use one safely. So, Austin, how are space heaters dangerous?
Yeah, thank you, Jack. Thank you, Brianna. So space heaters, they use a lot of power. It takes a lot of power to make things hot, which is exactly what a space heater does. It makes itself hot, and then it blows that hot air into your room to heat your room. These space heaters take up a lot of power, which means that there's a lot of electricity going through that cord and especially through that outlet and or power strip too. With all that power going through there, it can cause it to sometimes melt or catch fire, and that's definitely not a great thing. We definitely don't want that happening, especially if you're not home or you're asleep. So that's one of the many dangers of space heaters. The second, I would say, is putting it way too close to flammable things like curtains, bedding, blankets, clothes, even your skin. Sometimes those heaters can just blow really hot air and it will catch things on fire that you don't want catching on fire. And it can do so very unexpectedly as well, especially if it's a little close, and it has been for a while. It could definitely melt certain blankets or even your couch if it's a little too close to your couch. And also, the third thing is a lot of people put their heaters on carpet, which could cause a fire, could not. It really depends on the brand or the manufacturer of the heater. I know sometimes heaters can fall over, and if they're on carpet, that will definitely cause a fire very, very quickly. Now, the Normal Fire Department has responded to many calls involving space heaters or heaters. They even responded to one this morning of someone who had a space heater on, and it completely melted the cord and melted the outlet that it was plugged into. So those are some of the dangers of space heaters.
Okay, Austin, you have given us the rundown of all the dangers. So how can we use them safely?
Yeah, so you can use them safely by going back to my first danger, by never plugging it into a power strip. There's just too much power going through, and those power strips really aren't made for all that power to be going through, and that can cause fires, melting, all sorts of different things. You only really want to plug your space heater into a wall outlet with nothing else plugged into it. That way there's no chance of it overloading with power or anything and heating up too much, those wires in the wall or in the cord heating up a little too much and melting or causing a fire. Secondly, you want to keep any space heater away from anything flammable with at least 3 feet of distance. And I say at least the longer the better. You know, you can never be too safe. But keeping it away from anything flammable, like I said, you know, sofas, blankets, clothes, all those sorts of different things. And then you want to keep your heaters on hardwood or tile or some sort of hard flooring. Definitely not carpet, because if it does fall over, that will cause a fire very, very quickly. But some heaters can be used on carpet, and it's important to check what heater you have. Check the manufacturer, check the label. I know there's warnings on the back of a lot of those heater boxes that say what you can and can't do and tell you exactly how to use them. So definitely read those over to make sure you use your heater safely.
All right, well, thank you, Austin. Switching gears, you may have saw this race last summer, and now it's making a return for a second year. Oscar Mayer today announced the second annual Weenie 500 will return to the iconic Indianapolis Motor Speedway on May 22nd, leading up to the 110th Indianapolis 500. With 72 million hot dogs consumed every Memorial Day weekend, the Weenie 500 sets out to remind fans that anywhere is the perfect time for an Oscar Mayer wiener. This time around, fans can cast their vote for who they think will win the Weenie race. Man.
No, Indianapolis is not too far from Central Illinois. We might need to take a trip over there.
I love hot dogs.
I love beef hot dogs. They're my favorite.
You know how the Red Bull truck that drives around has little Red Bulls in them? The Oscar Mayer truck should have hot dogs ready to go.
They only have it just taking pictures every time we cover it. And
they gotta have hot dogs in the trunk,
and then they
ready to go.
They set up in grocery store parking lots. It's just like, why is there not a grill out here giving us hot dogs?
Hot dogs are so good. It's America's food. I love hot dogs. Man, now I want Portillo's. Right? Man.
Get your Chicago style hot dog.
I love me a good hot dog.
Do you get the Chicago? I know you're from Chicago area, so do you
Once in a while. Okay. Once in a while, you got to get everything out of it. Just, you know, get the
I'm not a relish
going.
fan. I don't like relish.
You know, I kind of like it simple. Ketchup, mustard.
Thank you.
Yeah, simple.
Exactly.
I like
me
it
too.
simple.
Same.
Yeah. All right, well, we've got one more local story for you when we return on Beyond the Headlines. We're sitting down with, again, Austin Feeman in the Twin Cities. We're checking in with the Home Sweet Homes new housing project as they welcome their first resident.
Welcome back. Our final local story of the day, Home Sweet Home Ministries, The Bridge, is starting their first official week of having residents.
WMBD's Austin Feeman joins us again now live from the Twin Cities newsroom. He went and spoke with some of the residents to see how they are adjusting and what they hope to get out of the, what they hope to
I'm scrolling too fast for Jack.
It's going too fast.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, guys.
It's also what they hope to get out of their
Yes,
time
thank you,
at
guys.
the
So
bridge.
many of the residents are currently many of the residents are adjusting from sleeping outside right now. And many of them slept on the concrete as well. And now they're sleeping inside on a bed. They're very thankful for the chance and are ready to get back on their feet.
The bridge has been a work in progress, building up over the past 6 to 7 months. Having residents in the cabins, especially with the recent cold weather, is a win for Home Sweet Home Ministries.
We're just so thrilled to be where we are now with having folks be able to reside here. You know, we beat that brutal cold snap over the weekend. We got people in before that for the most part.
Going from the streets to a home, being able to shower and stay dry is a big adjustment for many residents.
The first couple of days, even though being so comfortable and everything's so nice, it's all brand new and everything. It took me a couple days to kind of like adapt. I couldn't sleep.
They are happy to have the chance to get back on their feet after more than 8 years on the streets for some.
I've been out in the streets for 8 years straight, and it's pretty hard out there. It's pretty rough and a lot of danger. And this is my chance, thanks to this program and thanks to God, thanks to Jesus Christ, that this program is godly sent, and I'm going to take advantage the most I can out of it.
The work to get them their own homes and jobs is already underway. Some residents already have goals for their future, using the bridge as a stepping stone.
My plans are not staying here, you know. I think that God provided a bed and we use it like a stepping stone, but it's for us to move about, you know, so somebody else can, you know, enjoy the blessing, the benefit of it.
There is still some work to be done on the campus, but residents are safely living in their own cabins, having privacy for the first time in a while. In Bloomington, Austin Feeman, Beyond the Headlines.
What was it like for you talking to everybody today? Did you feel inspired, hopeful that the world is getting better, that we're healing?
Yeah, Brianna. So really when I was talking to these residents and they were sharing their stories with me, it was a very vulnerable experience. I mean, many of them shared they had problems with alcohol or drug addiction, and they were actively working to get over that hill and get on the other side of things. That way they can get back up on their feet, get a job, get their own place, and have that sense of self again. You know, they were really telling Salvador, he's been out on the streets for 8 years now, sleeping on the cold concrete. He told me he's been arrested a few times for sleeping where he's not supposed to be, and all sorts of other things. But he was telling me, you know, he stepped away from his friends who he always drank with, and he's focusing on himself, and he's focusing on this opportunity and what a blessing it is to be at the bridge and have all of this support really right outside of his door. You know, at the bridge, there's all of these professionals that are helping them get jobs, you know, helping them get to the doctor, helping them find new homes for themselves so that they can support themselves. And, you know, everyone who I talk to is extremely, extremely blessed and happy and excited to finally taking this step over the hill, like I said. Onto the other side of things, and hopefully to have a better life, and to, you know, grow from there, you know.
All right, well, thank you, Austin. I mean, thankful to the men willing to share their stories.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, that's incredible. I can't wait to see how the bridge does going forward.
Have a follow-up story with them, hopefully.
Yeah, right. All right, well, thank you, Austin. A new Super Mario Bros. Movie is coming this spring, and over the weekend, we got our first look at a famous character from the game who will be making his big screen debut. Take a look.
Who is this? Yoshi. Come on. So some dinosaur just shows up and he's now part of the group. Cool.
Yes, that is Yoshi, the dinosaur-like character from the video game franchise. The Super Mario Galaxy movie comes out on April 1st. The entire new trailer is streaming online. I'm really excited for this one. I like Super Mario. I grew up playing the Super Mario games. I loved the last movie. I think, you know, Chris Pratt did all right. It's a bit of a change from the, it's a me, Mario.
Okay.
Bit of a change from that voice, but, I mean, you can't have someone talking like that for, you know, an entire movie.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. I also played the Super Mario Galaxy game, which this movie is going to follow. So I'm excited to be able to remember the source material and check out this adaptation. You know what I'm saying?
All right, well, thank you. Thank you for joining us for today's Beyond the Headlines. You can find all these stories and more over on our website, ciproud.com.
For breaking news and weather updates 24/7, log on to ciproud.com and download the free CI Proud to Go mobile app.